reconciliation between the native tribes, the Lakota tribes, and the state of South Dakota, the state government. And he said it's time we learn about each other's cultures so we can learn how to get along. And I was really into that. I was really proud of it. And everybody was into it. And even clear up to the early 2000s, I was really, really into it. And then I started looking at the seventh generation, and a lot of them are really drugged out. I hate to say it, but a lot of meth addicts in the seventh generation. And I was told once by an old grandpa, he says, you will have one generation in your lifetime. He says, nowadays we have 2 or 3 generations. And I never really understood it until this past year. So in my Lakota way of life, my nieces and nephews, their children become my grandchildren. So those grandchildren are having children now. So I'm praying that those ones, we will teach them the right way. Maybe it's the 8th or 9th generation, I don't know. But I'm hoping we can do something really, really positive. The Indian tribes right now, especially in the Great Plains, they're having a hard time politically, economically, everything. But it's there. You can achieve your goals in life if you stop being dependent on the government. Stop waiting for that handout and go out and work and achieve your dreams. And that's something I really want people to do. I tell the young people back home, I says, just go to school, go to trade school. Learn a trade. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a lawyer, a scientist. You could be a plumber, an electrician. They make more money and their jobs last forever. This is in the oil fields in North Dakota. They make a lot of money. The welders, they make like $150,000 a year. And you don't need a fancy college degree to make that much money. So I'm always trying to encourage the young people to do something positive. And that was part of my sobriety. I said, in order for me to quit drinking, or in order for me to talk to people, I must talk to them in a clear mind and a clear voice with a clear heart. And one of the things is I had to quit drinking and doing drugs. And I've been clean a long time, since 1990. I don't even know how long that is. I lost track. I really don't care. It's just that I just quit to show people that not all natives are alcoholics, drug addicts, and there's a lot of clean people out there that live a good life and a simple life. And learning a little about where you're from and who you are, and learn your history of your people. Learn where you're from, what bands you're from. I could say I'm Oglala Lakota, but if you look down in my family tree, I have Minikanju, I have French, I have Irish, I have different bands. But I'm enrolled Oglala Lakota, because that's where my family's from. I'm a descendant of Chief Black Shield. Most people know him as Chief Calico. And he was one of the last chiefs to ever come down to the reservation from Canada. When his nephew Crazy Horse was murdered at Fort Robinson, he took the family and they went to Canada to join Sitting Bull. And they came down with Sitting Bull, and they went to Fort Beaufort, North Dakota when they came down. And I was told that they lined up all the natives, all the Indians, and they split them in half. And they said, this half goes to Standing Rock and this half goes back to Pine Ridge. But it wasn't all just Oglalas that went to Pine Ridge. There was some Assiniboines, Grovons, maybe 1 or 2 Nez Perce Indians went with them, and some Dakotas. But it wasn't all. And they ended up in a little village called Calico, north of Pine Ridge. And that's where I grew up, in that village. And in my community is Cheyenne Creek. Cheyenne Creek is a village a few miles north of the town of Pine Ridge. And it's got its name because when Chief Dullknife and his people of the Northern Cheyenne escaped Fort Robinson, the survivors that made it to Pine Ridge, to Red Cloud, they didn't know what to do with them, so they let them camp along this little creek. And the army came by and gave all the survivors blankets with smallpox on them. So wherever the survivors died or passed away, they buried them all along that creek and along the hillsides. So a lot of us are descendants from those people, the Cheyenne people too. And that's where I'm from. And it gets a little spooky there along the creeks there, but we always tell people, don't bother the spirits, leave them alone. If you find a pipe laying there or find a piece of moccasin or something, I said, don't touch it, leave it. I says, it's the Cheyenne Way. You got to respect both the Cheyenne Way and the Lakota Way where I'm from. And so we do that there in my little village. But anywhere, I have a lot of neighbors. On my mother's side, that's where the Cheyenne blood comes from also, from the Dullknife family. Poor Bears, it's a lot of old-time family names. It's hard to remember all of them because I'm related to everybody on the reservation. I should have had a tape recorder in 2000 when I went home one time to visit my grandmother, and both of my grandmothers were there. And we were eating soup and fried bread, and they were telling me my family tree. And I was like, I should have had a tape recorder. This is so interesting. And at the end of them telling me the story, which took like 2 hours, of all these people I'm related to all over South Dakota, Montana, everywhere, Canada, she said, if they are descendants of she who lived with the wolves, you are related to them. She says, that's how far back I went. Oh, it was like 20 generations.
Oh my God. 20.
That's as far as we made it so far. And I wished I recorded that. It's lost. It's lost. And I'm hoping this generation, comes to life and realizes that they must learn basic needs in life. They got to learn how to survive. They got to learn how to work and take care of their families. A lot of these young people don't even know how to cook or clean. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to chop firewood. I took my nieces out one day and I said, what's that plant? And they're like, I don't know. I said, it's called Timsula. It's a wild turnip. We dig it up every June. I took them out further and I said, what's this plant? I don't know. I said, your mother should be teaching you this. Your grandma should be teaching you this. Not me. I'm a man. I should be teaching these boys how to hunt and butcher and do stuff like that, make stuff. When I was teaching my nieces how to dig up food, wild potatoes, I even showed them how to medicines, like echinacea. I showed them how to mark it, wait till the first frost comes, then dig up the root, and that's where the medicine is. That's not the flower, it's the root. A lot of them don't know that. And basically, a lot of people, even so-called spiritual leaders, they don't know that. They just know how to throw cedar on the fire or burn sage, smoke a pipe. You're sick, burn some sage. Make some mint tea. They don't know the medicines to heal. A lot of them don't. They know how to sing the songs, perform a ceremony, but they don't know how to bring in the spirits. They don't know how to send them home. So those spirits stay here, and they mess with them. They mess with their families. So I always tell people, especially non-natives and non-Lakotas, I says, if you follow somebody, look at their family. Is their family happy? Are they living good? Are they living a good life? Are they doing good? Is their property nice? They have horses. They're always helping others. I says, if they are, then those are the people you go to. I says, but if their kids, if they have junk cars in front of their house and they're cussing and drinking and doing drugs and in and out of jail, I says, those are the people you stay away from. I says, because they're not, they just do it. They're just playing with medicine. You don't play with it. I'm just a Chawichash. I'm a common man. But I've always listened to the old people when I was young. I like the stories of the old people. And they always had good stories. They always told me who I was, where I was from. And that's what I remember. Anything else?
Anything that you would do personally or you would like to see in your community to bridge the gap between the old and the young?
I like to see each village on my reservation have a community sweat lodge. Even now, it's most important now with COVID-19 or the Chinese virus or whatever they call it. We need that. We need that community sweat lodge in each village so that people can go and cleanse their bodies. They need to learn about their herbs, the medicines. The young people need to learn about the language. I was in boarding school. I wasn't taught my language. I was not allowed to. So I understand enough to get by on. But it's really cool when I go home and all my friends and relatives that I go visit speak Lakota to me, and I pick it up. I get a hang of it, and I start to understand again. But when I live out here, I'm not around people who speak it fluently, so it gets kind of lost until I go home again, and then I start hearing the words and everything, and I catch on. And the children must learn the language and our culture. Our true culture, who we are, our bands, our Tioshbayes, our families. They must learn those, where they're from. Not everybody is from Sitting Bull. Not everybody is from Crazy Horses, Family Tree. Not everybody's from Red Cloud. Or some people are just regular people. And a lot of people are just ex-Chewichashas, they're families. But they're good people. That's what the young people need to learn. Now they have this movement called Wild Oglalas, but they're not. They have protests going on right now in Rapid City, South Dakota. And it's kind of organized by a non-native, non-profit organization. I can't say its name, but it's about making money, these protests, and I'm against that. If you're going to protest something, you stand and you fight. If you go to jail for it, you go to jail. If you get shot for it and killed, well, that's part of it. Nowadays, they just want to wave signs and yell and call each other names. That's not right. That's not cool. If you're going to protest, make some noise. Get a little militant. I'm older now, so I don't participate. I support them through prayer. And the young people, they're the ones that should stand, take charge. And with a lot of these protests, I'm tired of the men standing behind the women all the time the police show up. The men should be standing in front of the women, protecting the women. I see all these pictures, all the men hiding behind the grandmothers, and I said, they should be standing in front of the grandmother. That's our way. Protect the people. If you're a real warrior. Anything else?
Thank you. What would you say to uplift the generations now and all the people who are going back to the earth way of living?
Be respectful. Be respectful of our cultural ways. It's one of my main messages is humble yourself, be respectful. If you do Lakota ceremonies, be respectful of our people. If you do Apache ceremonies, be respectful of the Apache people. Don't try to go out and learn our ways and then run off and sell them for money. That's one thing I'm very against. It's okay to learn our ways. It's okay to come to our ceremonies. You're welcome. You're welcome to my Inipi Lodge. You're welcome to come pray with me. If you have a good heart and a good mind, you're always welcome. But if you're going to come here just to show off, then I don't like that. And one thing I'm very against is pedophiles. There's a lot of them here in California that get out of prison and they form these little sweat lodge circles to prey on women and children, and I'm very against that. I don't allow that. I don't allow that at any sweat I have. I don't allow that at all. I'm very against it. But the non-native people, they should be respectful to the natives. If you know a native in the community and they live a good, humble life, shake their hand at least. Invite them over, buy them some food, or invite them to your sweat. Let them, if they have the right to pour water, give them that honor. That's the old way. That's not happening. I went to a lot sweat here. They hated me there. And it was a Lakota lodge. They didn't want me there. And I had to see it for myself. And I just tell people is pray from your heart, be respectful. In our true spiritual way of life, we think of others before we think of ourselves. And there's a lot of people out here that claim to be Sundance chiefs or chiefs of something. A real chief will always help his people. A real chief, a real leader, is usually the poorest person in the band because they help everyone. They give everything away to help all people. They don't take, they give. A real leader gives instead of taking from others. He gives. He or she gives. Nowadays, a lot of natives are, how do I say that, Americanized, materialistic. So they want everything from everybody. I was not brought up that way. I was always taught, if you see somebody that needs something, give it to them. Share. Because that's part of your spirituality. That's part of Wakan Tanka, Tankashila. They test you that way. They test your spirituality. They watch you. The spirits watch you all the time. No matter what. They're always testing you to see if you're really walking the walk. I like to see more natives sober. And there's a lot of clean and sober natives in this world. But they're the ones that are way out in the boondocks that you never see. In the deep canyons and the mesas, or living far away from any towns. Those are the clean and sober ones. The ones you see are usually the ones that just had enough and they're just broken down and they just need a little boost in life. I don't hold nothing against people on the streets. Who knows? One of those guys might be God, testing you. I never judge people. I never look down on people. And that's one thing I've learned is you never look down on people. No matter if you're rich, famous, whatever, you never look down on people. You treat all people as equal as you. And treat people the way you want to be treated in life. And that's how you earn respect. Be responsible for your circle. People are in your circle, they need help, talk to them. But there's two things I like to say is, in the Lakota way, we only have one pipe bundle. and that's in Greengrass, South Dakota. And and Orville Looking Horse, he's the keeper of that bundle. There's no other bundles. There's no elk bundle, there's no star bundle, there's no sacred bundles. Like, there's only one bundle, no matter what. And the pipe, be respectful. If you carry a pipe, pray with it. You don't have to take it to ceremony to pray with it. You can pray with it at all times, any time of the day, any time. I pray with my pipe almost every night. Because that's what I was told to do when I was gifted this new pipe. I have like 3 pipes that were gifted to me, but this new one, the man that gifted it to me, he was a pipe maker of the Lakota people at one time. And he said, pray with it every night. Pray with it wherever you go. Somebody comes to visit you and they need help, bring out your pipe and smoke it and pray with them. Those prayers will be answered. So I do. Even here, we're waiting for the rainstorms to come so we can have Inipi again. So I'm always praying for rain nowadays. I'm dying to have a sweat. And I know all my friends, I know people from all walks of life. And if they come to me and they want to pray, they're welcome. They're always welcome. I don't judge. I'm not in some clique or anything. I'm just, anyone is welcome if they have a good heart. And they're respectful. And I know a lot of good-hearted people all over this country. Anything else?
Is there anything that Mother Earth is speaking to you about?
Yes. I've been telling people this for a long time. One time I'm driving in South Dakota and I stopped to get gasoline. And I see this older Lakota man standing by the gas station. So I'm filling up my tank and I wave him over and I says, you need anything? And he says, oh, my grandkids and I broke down and we ran out of gas trying to get here. And I said, oh, that's your Bronco, like 20 miles away? He says, yes, my Tacojas, my grandchildren are in there. I says, hold on. I says, do they have gas cans in there? And he says, yeah. I says, how much are they? And he says, the big one is $35. I said, here's 40, go buy it and come over here and fill up. I'll take you over there. I'll get you gas. So I got him gas. Then I bought some sodas and some cookies and some little snacks for his grandkids in there, because I didn't know who they were. And we got there, and I filled up his tank, and I said, I'll follow you to your home. He was from the Rosebud Reservation. So we got there, and I followed him home, made sure he was safe, him and his grandkids. And then his wife came out, and she said, I'm cooking some dinner. You stay and eat with us and pray with us. I said, okay. And then they told me the story. They told me the story of the white buffalo calf woman. And then they said, this is something you don't hear. And I said, what's that? They said she's coming back. And when she comes back, she's going to wander this earth. And as she wanders, we're going to have a hard time in life. There's going to be fires. There's going to be sicknesses, diseases. The earth is going to change. The people are going to change. And when she